Cabbage.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm a little bit tired. I've been sleeping so much.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I told you yesterday, right? I had slept for 12 hours straight.
No, what? You told me that.
Okay. I missed to mention that. I went to bed at like midnight and then I woke up at 12.
Oh.
The day after. So I slept for 12 hours straight without waking up, and that was really nice. And I was like, okay, my body needed that after a weekend of work, which was very stressful. There was a lot of people, even though there shouldn't have been, but there were.
Retail sucks.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, no, but my body needed that. It's fine if I did that this time. I did it again today.
Love that.
So I streamed yesterday, and then I just kind of got ready and I went to bed, and I fell asleep at like 1, what is it, like p.m? a.m?
A.M.
And I almost slept through my lesson this morning, but I woke up at exactly the right time, and I went up, I did breakfast. I was so tired, but I made breakfast. I sat through the entire lesson, ate, and then I just went back in and fell asleep.
Oh, I love that. I guess your body's just telling you that you need a break right now.
Yeah, so I have been sleeping for roughly 12 hours today as well, with a little bit of a break early this morning.
Yeah.
But, so otherwise I'm pretty fine. But I feel kind of, it's easy to get so tired when you sleep so much. Yeah. It's hard to kind of get into routine when I do. At least
Stop touching it.
I can't.
Stop.
I have so much maskne. I can't stop touching it.
Yeah, I know. So Hilda works retail and she obviously wears a mask for several hours a day and she has a little bit of maskne and she keeps touching it. Stop it.
I can't stop.
Especially now when you've got long nails. It's like made for just picking at
I love it.
pimples and stuff. Love that.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm still sleep deprived. So we've had the cats for a little bit over 2 weeks now. And I haven't really had a proper solid night's sleep since they moved here.
Has it only been 2 weeks?
Yeah, it has.
It feels like you've had them for so much longer than that.
No, only 2 weeks. But so I've started napping a little bit more during the day now. Because I've had a very hectic schedule with school and stuff lately, but now when I'm taking a new course, it's going to be a lot more calm, and I barely have any schoolwork this week, so I'll be focusing on a lot of content stuff and a lot of resting. So yesterday I took the whole day off. We were supposed to record yesterday, but I took the whole day off. I just spent my time playing video games. I've gotten really into this new game called Littlewood, which I was streaming today as well.
You will?
Yeah, I will be streaming that. It's gonna be cozy ass shit going on. So I'm pretty good, except that I'm a little bit tired, but I feel better today than I've done in a while because I took a long ass nap for like 6 hours yesterday.
That's not a nap.
It's just a long nap. So I went to bed. I went to bed at 1 a.m. As well yesterday, and I got up at like 10, 11 today. So
that's a pretty good night's sleep.
Yeah, it is pretty good, but I am still tired.
Did you get to sleep through the entire night though?
Oh no. No, definitely not. Salem is singing the night away. She howls bloody murder sometimes, and it's just
what's it called? Like,
earplugs. Yeah, my grandma suggested that, and I was like, yeah, why haven't I done that? But I don't have any, so I'm gonna get some, and then I'm gonna start sleeping with them, because the thing is, we're doing a thing where we're not responding to Salem or telling her to stop when she's meowing like that, because it like gives her attention, and that's what she's looking for. So we're trying to like stay away from showing her that she gets attention when she meows.
Ignoring it pretty much.
Yeah. But it's also rough because she goes off so much during the night. So it's like ridiculous. I'm kind of getting a little bit worried that we're going to get complaints. But also our neighbors are kind of crazy. So who are they to talk?
They don't hear that, do they?
Yeah, no.
I
hope not. But she is loud. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Is it the solemn screams that she does during the streams?
Why do you say Salem?
I don't know. It's the first thing that I say. Salem.
Salem.
I know it's Salem, but I say Salem.
Salem. Salem. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with me. So I'm pretty good all over.
Good that you're getting better.
Yeah, it's getting better.
That's nice to
so what's your Prattle Potion for today, babe?
Today, my brother came and gave me coffee. Actually, so that was really nice.
Love it.
First, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have because I tend to buy, instead of like juice in the morning, I tend to drink a smoothie that you can buy from Brämhults, Swedish brand, and I love it. So I was like, I'm just gonna drink that straight out of the bottle.
Love that.
But then he came down with coffee, so I just I'm just gonna
love that.
Coffee. Yeah. What's your potion today?
Well, I think this is a first in this short history of Prattle Potion where we have the same Prattle Potion today,
bitch.
We're working that coffee grind.
Oh my god. I'm tired because I slept too much. I drink coffee. You're tired because you slept too little and you have coffee.
Yes. Love that.
Sweet.
So Prattle Potion out of the way, and we have our life situations out of the way, and we're diving right into the episode because I have a lot of notes. So
you've told me.
Yeah, let's just jump right into the shit.
Let's do it.
When this episode will be released, it's closing in on becoming International Women's Day. It is the March 8th, March 8th. And I thought that would be a great opportunity, since this is the episode just a few days before that, for us to acknowledge and talk about some women in the gaming industry.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I don't know a lot of names overall. Men, women, non-binary people, whatever, in the gaming industry. But I thought this would be a cool opportunity to talk about some cool-ass people who happen to identify as women.
Yes. Looking forward.
So,
I'm also really bad at names. So
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. Learn some cool names.
Yeah. So, first off, I just want to say that whatever one might think or not, but statistics prove that the gaming industry is a very non-equal place, and that women have a rough time in the industry. It is getting better, but it's still not actually what's the word I'm looking for?
Equal?
Yes, thank you. Equal. So, if you're gonna be like, well, this is bullshit, then Google is your friend, because there's a lot of information out there. But we're not really gonna get into that too much. I just want to really take the opportunity of International Women's Day and acknowledge some kick-ass women. So, since it's March 8th, our list consists of 8 women.
Ooh,
so
look at you.
I love me a good list, you know.
Wow.
You know me, Beach. So I think we're just gonna kick this off, and I really want this episode to be a discussion or a give and take. So if you think that I left out some really important women in the industry, please let us know in the comments for wherever you're listening to this. We want to learn. We want to know about all the kick-ass ladies out there. So we're jumping into this, and let's go.
Let's go.
So first out is Amy Hennig. Amy Hennig is the former creative director of Naughty Dog and is most famously known for her very active role in the development of the Uncharted games.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
She has won the Writers Guild of America Award for Achievement in Video Game Writing for her work in Uncharted: Drake's Deception, as well as the BAFTA Games Award for Audio Achievement for the work she did in Uncharted 2: Among Thieves.
Oh, look at her.
So she just out here kicking ass.
She is really out here kicking ass. She just went in there and be like, hey. Yes.
Hey, I got you, bitch. Have you played the Uncharted games before?
I've never played them. I've seen my cousin play them, and I've seen Let's Plays of almost all the games. I think at least the two latest ones I've seen Let's Plays of. And it's a really good game.
Yeah, I recognize the title and stuff, but I've never played it myself. But I know it's a well-loved game. Beloved game.
It's a good story. Very good story. And she wrote it. Good on her.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool. So Amy has been in the gaming industry for 3 decades now, and she's very widely known as a role model for a lot of women in the industry. Her amazing ability to create movie-like single-player games and deep storylines tops her among the most talented creative directors and writers in the gaming world. So that's a little bit about Amy, and
that's really nice.
She's just making a name for herself in the fucking industry.
I love that it's specific, like, movie type of storytelling, because I love that in games. It's like... Yeah. Now that we played through Resident Evil 7 on my stream, it was like, it's almost a little bit towards that. And I know there are games that are more like movie style based, but I love that style. That is such a cool style. It really feels like you're playing a movie.
Yeah, and it becomes very immersive in that way too. Like it's actually very, the scenery does so much in games. Oh, yeah. So that's really freaking cool.
So cool.
Amy. The information about every person is very varied. Some are shorter, some are longer. So that was what I had about Amy. And we're jumping on over to Laila Shabir.
Laila
Shabir.
Shabir.
Shabir. Shabir.
Okay.
Yeah. So Laila Shabir is the founder of Girls Make Games, a series of summer camps and workshops that introduce girls to the world of gaming and programming, which I just think sounds fucking amazing, and I would have loved to go to a summer camp like that when I was younger.
If that summer camp existed when I was little, I wouldn't hate summer camps so much.
Right. So at the camps, girls learn the basics of game development by working in teams to create their own games. At the end of camp, the girls get to pitch their ideas to leaders in the gaming industry with the goal of getting funding for the development and actually make that project take place, which is so cool.
What?
Right?
That's so cool. Where is this?
That's so cool.
How old do you have to be?
How old can I be? Can I be 25?
How young do you have to be?
I think that sounds so cool. I know there were music summer camps and stuff when we were younger, but gaming summer camps, if I get a daughter in the future, I'm gonna be like, you should go there, bitch. Oh. Go. I mean, I know that
live through our dreams through our daughters.
Right? Classic parenting style. Yeah. So Leila is also an MIT graduate. She has worked on Wall Street, and she now runs Girl Make Games' parent company, Learn District, together with her husband. So Learn District is a company focused on creating accessibility for learning through video games and game-making programs. So basically, Learn District is the parent company that is in charge of Girls Make Games, and both of them are very focused on making video gaming accessible and making it a tool and stuff. Yeah. Which I think is really freaking cool. And
it's so cool.
Goals to work on that together with your husband. I mean, that sounds amazing. Goals, honestly. Yeah, truly.
That's so cool.
Right? I mean, I would have...
Oh my God.
I really would have wanted a camp like that, because I think that's very important too, to have introduced that girls to that world in a at a young age.
Yes.
And also to remove that element. So this is not in any way to like generalize, but I hope people understand what I'm saying. When there is an element in this way, like technology and gaming and stuff, boys tend to take a lot more space than girls can, and it becomes very intimidating with technology and gaming and stuff, and you don't get the same room. And if you're not a girl who has the ability to stand up for yourself, and if you don't have a lot of I don't know, if you can't really put your foot down and show your like power or whatever, it's really hard, and you get questioned a lot as a woman in gaming. So I think that's very cool to like not only do that at a younger age, but also create a safer environment where everyone is a girl and there are no like competitive elements with boys, and
there's not even a chance for them to like bully
take over
or be like controlling or powerful kind of. Because what you're saying, I really like feel that, because it feels like every time, sadly, especially on online games where you play a lot with other people, there's such a like, as soon as you get to know that you're a girl, not all the times, but a lot of the times it's just like, oh, well, then you mention these 3 top abilities that you have to use at the top max end game. And I'm like, I'm just a casual player. I don't care about that. And there are guys who are casual players too, but they don't get questioned.
No.
The same way that girls do.
No.
And it's the same really with like every kind of hobby that I feel girls get to have. It's like they're getting questioned all the time.
Yeah. Who dat?
Nala.
She entered the room by herself?
She opened the door and came in stretched.
Excuse? Hi? Wait, she opened the door?
She opened it. Hi.
She was like, y'all talking about powerful women?
I'm here.
Enters Nala.
Do you want to join the conversation? Yes? No? Okay, you can be in here. No?
Let's go. Ja, gör det. So, moving on, we are talking about Yoko Shimomura. So Yoko Shimomura is a pianist and composer, and she's most widely known for her work in video games.
I recognize that name a lot.
Yes, because you're quite the fan of one of the games that she has composed music for. Yes, Hilda. Yes.
Can I guess? Is it Final Fantasy?
Yes. Final Fantasy is one of the games, but also Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
So, she graduated from Osaka College of Music in 1988, and she has worked in the industry ever since then. And she's not only done work in Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, but also other major franchises such as Street Fighter and Super Smash Bros. And many more.
Wow, a lot of big games.
So she's made music in very big game names, like that's pretty
so
dope.
Cool. That's so impressive.
Yeah, I mean my husband is a big fan of Street Fighter and Final Fantasy. I haven't really played Final Fantasy that much.
I've been playing a bit of the later games, and I played a bit of Final Fantasy, like I think it's like 13 or 14. That is the online one.
Yeah.
And the music is always chef's kiss on top, the best gaming music pretty much.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to it for a big part of my life, because my cousin was so into Final Fantasy and stuff when I was very little. So I've heard about it and heard it a long time. And I think one of the songs that I like is my favorite is Her. But I've never really, I'm so bad at names and artists overall, so I've never actually thought about who the artist is.
Who is that? No, And also, I mean, you're quite the fan of the Kingdom Hearts game too, right? Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I am.
I remember when in the beginning of our friendship, you were kind of the one who introduced me to that game. I hadn't really heard of it before. Because, like we've talked about that before, I've grown up with less cutesy games.
True.
And more adult directed games. So Kingdom Hearts and like that world I haven't really been exposed to that much.
That's a very cutesy game.
Yeah, it is a very cutesy game, and I mean it's like only Disney characters pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
It's you, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and Goofy kind of.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard about that really before. I mean, I recognized the name, but when you said you played that, I was like, oh, it sounds familiar, but I didn't really have a visual before you showed that to me. So I remember you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But no, so I remember that you had played Kingdom Hearts and that you enjoyed those games or that game. So that's Yoko's contribution, music-wise, which is really cool. Because I know I've heard also with like Final Fantasy music, that's pretty famous for having good music. And also Kingdom Hearts. I know people love listening to Kingdom Hearts music and stuff. So
yeah, it's very
that's
well
pretty cool.
known for being good music. It's like top-notch music.
Yeah. Moving on to Sasha Hostyn. So, Sasha Hostyn is better known by her username Scarlett, and she is the highest paid female esports player in the world.
I recognize Scarlett.
Yeah, she kicking ass over here.
Tell me more.
So Scarlett is most famous for playing StarCraft 2, and she's the first woman to win a major StarCraft 2 tournament.
Oh wow, that's big.
That is big.
Imagine the amount of hardships and like people going against her, especially if you're such a public person. You can keep going.
I think that's very valid, and we have another woman later on that has faced similar hardships and in the same world, but I also need to I haven't written this down in my notes because I didn't want to mention it without it maybe being relevant. So Sasha is a transgender woman. So I suppose that hasn't really helped the trolls being against her and stuff.
Certainly not.
I know I saw somewhere she commented on that and she was like, yeah, that doesn't really define me and stuff, but obviously, but I can imagine people not being nice. Not only that she's a woman in gaming, but being a transgender woman. I can't see how that would have helped the trolls being nicer.
No,
to her.
Kind of, for them, it's fuel.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
sadly enough,
if you're not only a woman but you're an LGBTQ plus person, that's just
yeah.
Sometimes the world of gaming can be so toxic.
Sometimes.
So toxic. But so the first tournament that Scarlett ever won was the NESL Iron Lady, and from then she has taken part in more than 200 tournaments.
Oh God.
That's quite a few. She won $50,000 from the IEM 12 Pyeongchang StarCraft 2 competition, which has been her highest single tournament earning to this day. $50,000. Girl, you looking for a wife or what?
Give me.
Right? Jeez.
Wow. Imagine. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, she out here being just badass and I don't know. I just
earning money.
Kudos to you, Scarlett. Right?
Kudos,
so
really.
Yeah. So next woman is Kim Swift. So Kim Swift took the gaming world by storm back in 2007 with her role as lead designer for the very famous game Portal.
Ooh,
speech. So I love having those really famous games that you've heard of and and they're a staple part of the gaming community and you learn that a woman has had such a big part in the creation of that. And I mean, she's the lead
so
designer.
Cool.
So I mean, the visuals of that game is thanks to Kim.
That's so cool.
That's really cool.
Especially when it's like the big games, the big titles.
Yeah, when it's like a major thing in the community. That's
kind of
cool.
makes you inspired, doesn't it?
Right? Kicking ass, bitch.
Very much so, yeah.
So Portal received a lot of praise by critics back when, and many naming it the best game of the year. Since the release of Portal, Kim has gone on to work on Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, and Half-Life 2.
No,
so she just out here doing such a big service.
I love Left 4 Dead.
Yes,
and
I know.
Half-Life 2. That's like the cult game of gaming industry.
Right?
That's like the game.
Yeah. So I mean, she's just out doing so much stuff. What the hell?
That's so cool. And Left 4 Dead, I love Left 4 Dead.
Imagine that resume. Like, so what games have you worked on? Oh, just Portal, Left 4 Dead, Half-Life 2, like...
Right, Half-Life 2 also.
Oh, casually.
What?
So,
Goddess?
Since then... right? So, since then, Kim has left Valve, the developer of said games, and she was later hired by EA as the design director at the Motive Studios for the development of Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Also,
so she's just out here. She's just out here working on the big games.
She's just jumping from big game to big game, pretty much. Wow.
Like I said, imagine that resume.
Oh my god.
She has been featured in business magazine's Fortune on a list of 30 under 30 influential figures in the video game industry. She has also been described as one of the most recognized women in the industry and as an artist that will push the medium forward. And nice. I just can't agree more. That, I mean, having worked on such popular, amazing games such as Portal, Left 4 Dead, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Half-Life, I mean... she's really out here making a name for herself.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's really doing it. It's no small, like, feat of those games. It's just really, like, Half-Life 2?
Yeah.
Kidding me?
That is cult game number one.
That's, like, big. That's so big. Of course she's gonna be featured in business magazine. I hope she's featured in a lot of them.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean, a lot of these women, I found that they have been in a lot of stuff. I just had to narrow it down, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That's so cool.
So, next up, we have Jade Raymond. So, Jade Raymond worked at Google up until only a few months ago, where she held a post as vice president leading Google's Stadia Games and Entertainment section. Apparently she left because Google recently apparently came out and said that they would be honing back a little bit on their work with Stadia Games and Entertainment. Apparently they're kind of starting to slow down that. So I think maybe that's why she left, because there was a correlation between her leaving and whatever.
Yeah.
But so back in 2018, Jade was recognized for her trailblazing endeavors across her 20-year career with the Develop Vanguard Award. Later the same year, she received the Pioneer Award at the Fun and Serious Game Festival for her many contributions to the gaming industry. So at this point, you might be asking, like, okay, well, what has she done? Like, you're just spitting out. Like,
she's getting a lot of awards for something.
But why, you know? So we're going to talk a little bit more about what Jade has done. So after Jade left university with a bachelor's in science, majoring in computer science, she went on to work for Sony, where she helped in the creation of Sony's online first research and development group. She later moved on to work at Ubisoft, where she led the creation for the very famous game Assassin's Creed.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, I see it now.
She just out here kicking around too with Kim Smith, bitch, and all the other fucking women around here.
I thought it was like, she's getting a lot of awards.
Yeah,
for
why?
Something.
Oh, well, Assassin's Creed is kind of famous, I don't know.
Just a tiny title, Assassin's Creed.
She later became the executive producer for Assassin's Creed 2, and she would also have a hand in the making of Watch Dogs and the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Watch Dogs is also like one of those games that are just... I've never played it, but I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah.
It's just a big game. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So Jade was also just casually out here, just creating cult games, whatever. So Jade was one of the very few video game executives mentioned in Variety magazine's 2008 list of 500 most influential business leaders shaping the global entertainment industry, and she is on the board of directors for WIFT, or Women in Film and Television. So WIFT is an organization that is dedicated to the advancement of women across film and television, other screen-based industries. So she's also, obviously, like a lot of the previous women we've mentioned, she's also very focused on women's place in the gaming industry, and I think that is very cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think it's so... I feel like I want to be a little bit careful with what I say without things sounding weird, but I just think it's very interesting to see that a lot of the people or women that I've researched with this, they're very active in different ways to help women in the industry. But I just think it's so interesting to like people saying that there is an issue in the gaming industry, but so why do so many women feel the need to help other women if there's not an issue? And
why do we feel the need to be able to explain ourselves or be able to be prepared with information as soon as we log online? Because we need to prove that we're interested or prove that we have knowledge in something that we enjoy.
So I just think that's very interesting, and I love reading about these women.
It's so inspirational, especially when you say like they are actually looking out for other women and actually actively like trying to bring in more women. Yeah. It would be so easy, I can imagine, to just be up there and be like, I'm here, I made it. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
But I also feel like they couldn't have had it easy. No. And of course, there will always be hardship with getting jobs overall. Doesn't matter, like, what gender or who you specify as, but it's just like they must have fought a bit to get to where they are today, and that must inspire them to help others get there as well, but finding an easier and more natural path there kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you. It's very inspiring to hear what they're doing, and
because you never really hear about it.
No, that's also a very interesting point. But I thought we would do a little bit more discussion at the end. I have two women left to talk about. So as I mentioned before, when I talked about Scarlett being famous in the tournament and esports world, I mentioned that there was another woman that I was going to talk about, and this is Se-Yeon Kim. So Se-Yeon Kim, or better known as Geguri, is a professional Overwatch player. Oh. So already here you can probably tell that this is gonna be toxic. Bitch.
This is gonna be real salty.
So Se-Yeon Kim, or Geguri, plays for the Shanghai Dragons, and by joining the Shanghai Dragons, she became the first woman to play in the global Overwatch League competition, which is pretty cool and pretty crazy too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's cool. Then you realize, like, that's kind of okay, sure.
Because I forgot to note down when she joined the Shanghai Dragons, but I think she did that in like 2018, 2019.
Doesn't
surprise me. Recently, and she became the first woman to join the Overwatch League competition in 2018, 2019. I mean,
that doesn't say something. It's just like
ridiculous.
Come on.
So, Geguri made her pro gaming debut in 2016 as the first female and one of the youngest players ever in the Korean tournament Overwatch Apex. So, she was a little bit of a prodigy in that way too, that she was so young and she was the first female there as well. So she wasn't just the first female in the Overwatch League competition, but she was also the first woman in Overwatch Apex, which is just interesting.
Cool. Do you know how really young she was? How old she was at that
No,
time?
I don't know. No. I'm sorry.
She was young though.
Yeah,
so that must have been
fun.
Like
I mean, we can check real quick because I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna just
because I feel like a lot of people playing are roughly like our age, like 20s, young 20s. So, like a prodigy young age, wouldn't that be like 14, 13?
So she was born 99. And it was back in 2016, so she would have been 15, right?
Yeah.
Is that math is hard, is that right?
I think so. I've done math today and my head is broken. 99. Yeah,
she's born 99. Or is this 17? Is it 15 or 17?
Was it 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, 17. She was
17. There you go. Math is hard.
Welcome to the podcast. Math is hard.
Yeah. So she was 16 then. That was pretty cool.
That's so cool. That is young. Like, imagine us when we were that age.
Yeah, no.
Like when when I hear about prodigies that are so young.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, what have I done with my life?
Yeah. Because, like, also, it's not just her being young, but she, like, made a whole big deal with her being the first female joining. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you're just out here, like, breaking norms and just kicking ass. And I'm just here, like, I think I have a Cheeto in my belly button. Like, gosh.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Spot on, kind of.
So Se-Yeon also made Forbes' list of 30 under 30 in 2020 and was on the list for Next Generation's Leaders in Times Magazine in 2019.
That is cool.
Yeah, so she's... Yeah, I'm glad she's getting recognition, but I kind of wanted to raise another thing that I read about Se-Yeon or Geguri. Which is that when she joined the Shanghai Dragons, she got a lot of accusation for cheating her way into the tournament. Obviously, as the first woman in the competition, she had to really prove herself extra because people were like, wow, you can't really be that good.
We get back to that, like, we have to prove ourselves even more than... men.
Yeah, I found a video of her online where she played Overwatch and her camera was on her keyboard the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't really see that much. Sometimes I see that among professional players and stuff because they want to show, but I think that had a lot to do with people being like, that's not you playing.
It's not you.
You can't be that good. And it's just insane because if she were a man, she wouldn't have to prove herself. She wouldn't have been accused of cheating. No.
No one would question that. They would all be like, oh my god, insane. He's so good for being so young.
Yeah.
No one would question that. Which is so sick.
Yeah, so I think it's ridiculous and it's frustrating to read about things like that. Because we're in 2021 now.
Yeah, but I'm glad that she actually made lists and keep going even though she met that hardship. Yeah. That's strong.
So I think that's really cool. And I read some, as I was doing research, I tried to, like, watch some YouTube videos and stuff. And I was really happy with people being very, like, she's, like, the best player that the Shanghai Dragons have. And people are, like... it's too bad that she's on the Shanghai Dragons because she's such a good player and they're such a sucky team. Some people think apparently.
No.
But so it's cool to see that she's getting that recognition, and I just think it's really cool that she she's really breaking through.
That
in the Overwatch world.
Very much. The Overwatch world is normally like so toxic.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it is.
Just from the beginning, it's so toxic and so salty.
Yeah.
So being a woman to step in there, I know I have a friend. We have a friend, Michelle. The place, and I know it's not that easy being a being a girl playing Overwatch, or I can imagine, at least I've heard a little bit, but it's just like they're toxic from the start. Then imagine being a girl on top of that. It's like and especially if you're like a prodigy and you're like stepping out there, like she did when she was so young as well, and people are like, nah, you're cheating. You don't have a penis.
Yeah, right.
Like, what?
So stupid.
Oh my God, yeah.
So, the last woman that I'm gonna mention hits a little closer to home with us.
Oh.
So, this is Amber Dalton. So, Amber Dalton left a job in finance to co-found and run PMS Clan. So PMS Clan is short for Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. It was previously short for Psychotic Manslayers, but I think that didn't age right, and I think they might have wanted to change that up to not be as toxic. That's like a lot.
It's like, okay, we're getting recognition. We need to...
we need to cool it.
We still kind of don't like men, but...
Yeah. But I mean, they are an all-women's
my God.
clan.
We need to be more family-friendly.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like... I would say that it might have been like... They wanted to change it because the use of the word psychotic is also... people are starting to be like, please don't use that word, you know? And also with the manslayers part, I think they wanted to be a little bit more accommodating. So, and I just might add that I think Pandora's Mighty Soldiers sounds way cooler than Psychotic Manslayers, to be honest.
It does, of course.
Yeah. So PMS Clan is one of the oldest and largest competitive gaming communities for women, and it was once the largest clan for Xbox Live platform, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
like
okay.
not largest clan for women, largest clan overall, which I think is really cool.
So cool. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So Next Generation Business named Amber one of the game industry's 100 most influential women for PMS Clan's work at dispelling stereotypes about women in gaming and creating a safe space for female gamers. So Dalton also later handed over management of the PMS Clan to Regina Wu back in 2013, and since before that, in 2011, she started working at Twitch as the director of global event sponsorships, where she remains to this day.
Oh my God, our girl!
Yeah, so Amber is in charge of sponsorships and in charge of, partners and affiliates and everything. So that's what I meant with it hitting a little bit closer to home for us.
Waiting.
Because we're active on Twitch and stuff. So
first I was like, Xbox clans? Like, I've never played. I've hardly ever played Xbox, but okay, I guess I know what that is.
So I think that's pretty cool. So
super cool.
I love having also, because we've talked a lot about major companies and specific games, but Twitch is the only company we're talking about where it's more of like the streaming part of it all, and that's a whole other world as well. Like esports is one thing and gaming development is one thing, and then Twitch streaming and streaming overall is one thing. So I think that's pretty cool that the person who's like in charge of sponsorships and in charge of partners and affiliates is a woman.
That's kind of nice to know. I feel like because sadly I don't think about it, but then it hits me like I almost always assume that I'm dealing with men. Yeah. When I'm online. Yeah. Like when we're streaming and stuff, and there's people chatting, even though there's nothing toxic going on and everyone is super nice. I just kind of assume everyone is men, which is so false. That there are women, and when you kind of like, it's nice to know that people working behind the scenes, there are women there. It kind of feels a bit safer.
Oh, definitely.
And, like, I feel a bit more calm knowing that.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, and I mean, so what I wanted to do with this episode is just kind of have, cause you and I, we're kind of easy breezy when it comes to our gaming and stuff, and if you compare us to others, we haven't really faced as much stupidity as a lot of other women have, because we don't play it online as much, and also we are very heavily RPG gamers, and the RPG community is a lot calmer than first person shooter, for example, because that is just ridiculous.
And the age span is usually a bit younger.
Yeah, that too.
In the FPS community.
So I just wanted to, like, those were the women I wanted to acknowledge and talk a little bit about, because I thought it was interesting to mention some women breaking the norms and just having their kick-ass plays in a very male-dominated world.
Oh, yeah, hell yes.
Yeah, so what I wanted to just talk a little... I know we started to have a little bit of a discussion during... in between... all the women, but I wanted to talk, just have a little easy breezy, I don't know if it's easy breezy, but I wanted to have
lemon squeezy.
a little chat about our experiences in the gaming world and stuff, and just have a little bit of a conversation about the role as a woman in the gaming industry. Or industry,
nice.
But world.
Or it sounds interesting. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if nice
can be
is
questionable.
The right word.
But that sounds... Yes, let's.
Speaking of from personal experience, I can't really say that I've faced a lot of backlash, but that's usually because, as I've mentioned in many previous episodes, I'm a very solo player.
Yeah.
I don't really take part in communities. I don't really join guilds. I don't do a lot of those things. But I'm gonna be completely honest. One of the reasons that I don't do that is because I don't want to deal.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Because, I am a social person. Otherwise, I'm not an extrovert, but I'm an introvert, but I love...
You love socializing to an extent.
I love socializing to an extent, and I would love a gaming community. I would love to have somewhere to turn. The way you do with your RP guild, and you have your corner on the internet.
Yeah.
But I think one of the major reasons that I don't do that is because I don't want to deal.
Yeah.
Because the filtration process of finding a good community for a woman online is a lot harder than for a man.
Well, yeah, because most, just regular guilds in World of Warcraft, for example, are mostly males.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sadly. You kind of have to look out for a specific girl.
Yeah.
Only guild to be able to have that group.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I feel like, and I just something that I wanted to acknowledge in the beginning too is I feel like it feels like a very natural thing for us to discuss. We want to have very easy breezy episodes and talk about gaming and stuff in this podcast, so there won't be a whole bunch of deep episodes like this one, or serious episodes like this one, but I felt like it was a very important conversation to maybe put out there, just because, this affects us very much as gamers, and we are a female-run podcast about gaming.
Yeah, and it's so, very close to home.
It is very close to home.
And it must be, we need to speak of it at some point.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we do, and I agree with that.
Yeah, so I just think it's a very important conversation to have, and I'm very happy that I'm not a woman who plays first-person shooter or stuff, because I saw TikTok the other day. I'm very sheltered as an MMORPG person that doesn't really play with a lot of other people, and but oh my gosh, I can't believe the the way people still speak to each other on first-person shooter games. I think she played like COD or something.
I think I know which one you're talking about because I think I've seen it too.
They were so verbally abusive, like not only the really old, boring non-joke about like, hey, go to the kitchen and make me a sandwich, was it just the most unimaginable, like the worst fantasy you have about an insult, but also so much like, I don't know, downright sexist shit. And I was just so confused because they were like, we're playing a game, and this guy was like, yeah, get down on your knees and suck my dick. And I'm just like, what? Are you good? Like,
are we still here?
Yeah. I'm so confused.
Yeah, it really does feel like the FPS, sadly, like FPS.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Overwatch goes into that category as well. All of those games. They are back in time in another way because I feel like people get like, what is it called? Like keyboard brave. Yeah. Like when they like, they don't have to face the person. They don't have to look at the person. It's so much easier to insult, to bully, to just say bad things.
Yeah, I mean, because when my husband plays Overwatch, usually with your fiance, I mean, sometimes he's like, oh my god, we just had this dude and he was so stupid. He kept like verbally abusing. I'm not going to say a lot of words, but he kept like using like not only just verbal abuse, but like derogatory words like R word, N word, like. Yeah. And I'm like, are you guys strange. Good? Like, what's happening? My husband is very good with reporting players, and he's very avid. He's like, yep, this person gone, bye. He does that all the time.
Like my fiance, your husband, and my brother, they play together, and that whole play group, they all like report directly, have no like.
And I love that because sometimes he's like, oh, I just got a message that this player was banned, and I'm like, that's so good. Oh,
that's like, so nice.
But that's just like these people just verbally abusing other random players. But I just when you see a girl come into the play or in the mix, it shifts. Like, it's not just random verbal insults. It's sexism. It's like full on.
It's directly aimed towards what gender you are.
I mean, it's so crazy because I also the clip I saw where this guy was like, because she like won, and he was like, I'm gonna fucking rape you and just murder you and shit. And I'm like, you wouldn't say that to a guy though. Like, no, it's like, are you seriously threatening someone with rape because they won over you in a game? I'm so confused. Yeah, I'm so confused.
It really does feel like that. Sadly, majority of that gaming community is like so backwards in time. Yeah. And it kind of feels like it's just getting worse because people are starting to like talk more about it and to talk back and to actually like stand up for themselves, and that just feeds on a lot of people, sadly. The only kind of like way to deal with those people is to ignore, ban, block everything, don't give out any names or contacts, and just kind of like cut them off there and then, and see to it that everyone does it. But that's like that's the thing that they do, like that's where your brain turns. What?
Yeah, right?
Like, what? Do you speak to your mother? Like,
yeah, are you good? Like, what the hell?
Are you okay? I don't think you're okay.
And I think it's so important for players to call out each other and be like, you can't talk like that. But most importantly, I think it's such an important aspect for companies, the games, to actually be like, no. Yeah. You can't do that. You've had several allegations about being verbally abusive. You're banned. Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye. Like, you don't get a second
I think
chance.
It's really important to that they get consequences, because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so backwards. Extremely backwards. And I know, like, in World of Warcraft that can be the case as well, since you're playing with other people. And sadly that's where people turn. Yeah. For some reason. So a lot of the time, like, I've been playing more with other people than you have when it comes to
definitely.
World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And the art, like the role play community is pretty cool. They're pretty nice with all of that. I haven't really encountered any problems with any of that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like more retail gaming and more just casual gaming, PvP, and especially like dungeons and raids, it's just it's just so weird that that's where they go to when they're trying to insult you, like, oh, because you're a girl, that's why you're bad. Yeah. It's like, no. No, I told you from the beginning I haven't tanked before. Like, this has nothing to do with me being a girl. Yeah. It's just very... Yeah, I don't know why they would do that. It's such a strange thing for me. Yeah. Because we wouldn't, like, just because that's a guy playing and he was doing something that wasn't pro. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like we would be like, oh, that's because you have a penis.
No. No, it's like you wouldn't like verbally abuse someone for doing something based on their gender or gender identity. I think it's a very confusing mindset, and I realize and I recognize that these people probably aren't in the best headspace themselves to be taking out aggressions like that on people online.
Oh, but no, not at all.
I think it's just so crazy because these people also don't recognize what harm they might be doing, because I know a lot of people who when you say like you can't, like, stop whistling, stop commenting on women's bodies, stop doing this, like, and they're like, well, it was just one comment. Like, yeah, sure, for you that was one comment, but for me it's a comment every time for everyone when I play, and that turns out to be 20 comments a week, not just one. So you're just one in the herd. You're funny, and
but you're not at all. No. I've heard this 1,000 times, and that's not an overstatement.
No.
I have.
So I think it's ridiculous. Stop verbally abusing each other, especially based on gender online. It's stupid and it's juvenile, and stop.
I still like remember when, I think it was when Dragon Age Inquisition was released. Yeah. There was this, like, because of, like we said, RPGs are often more like open to powerful women in the game scene, and they are more mature overall, because it's often like games that are more mature in story and gameplay. Yeah. Which I don't know if that is why we like it so much. Might be. But I remember like this it was some kind of forum debate that exploded and became kind of viral at that point, where there was this guy who wrote this long ass post about how unrealistic it was in Dragon Age for a girl to hold a giant ass, like two-handed axe. Like, that's not possible because she's not strong enough to do that. In Dragon Age. And everyone was like, because no one bought that shit, everyone was like, but dragons though.
Yeah, right. That was I was gonna say.
Magic,
like,
though.
Oh, so you're good with the magic and the darkspawn and stuff, but a woman holding a two-handed axe, that's the crazy part for you?
Yeah, that was him like, oh no, this destroys the immersion. Women needs to be weak. It's like,
oh lordy lord.
But the elves though.
What about the elves?
The demons though.
Wow.
Do you need help, sir?
I just want to kind of start rounding off and just saying that I know this might not be like a crazy constructive conversation, or we're just having a more of a casual conversation between two best friends about our experiences and thoughts. We're not out here to educate anyone. If you want to be educated, Google, again, is your friend. Yes, I'm sure there are other people who have more educational approaches on this conversation. We just wanted to have a casual conversation about this, to recognize women in gaming and the gaming industry, since we're getting close to International Women's Day. Yeah. And as a last part of this episode, I kind of wanted to ask you, Hilda, do you have any, like, female character in a game that you've been really looking up to, or has made an impact for you? Because I think I had a little bit of a hard time when I wrote this episode, because I was like, okay, should I recognize real women in the industry, or should I recognize like characters? But then I was like, no, I want to have a serious conversation about women's role in the gaming industry. So I want to recognize real women who's made real contributions. And as we've established, we've had some kick-ass women with real big contributions in the gaming industry. And these weren't even the biggest. I tried to not just take the biggest names that I could find, but I tried to vary it between esports and development and everything like that. It was a really
good mix. Because some people would kind of, I feel like they would just kind of bring up names from like Twitch or YouTube or stuff like that. Yeah,
I really wanted to mix it up.
Professional, like workers, like people that actually work with games, which is so nice.
Maybe people who aren't that public. I wanted to talk about them too. So, but I wanted to end this a little bit on a tad lighter note with talking about some characters that I want to. So me being a pansexual ass woman, I've had a lot of like female crushes during my gaming journey in life. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Lara Croft.
Oh, hell yeah, we need to do that.
This lady, I mean, she is definitely one of the most powerful, cool women I've ever seen in gaming. And me and my dad, we used to play the Tomb Raider games when I was younger. I always thought she was a badass. I love the movies as well with Angelina Jolie, and I know we touched on Tomb Raider and my relationship to that before, but I wanted to like definitely talk a little bit about Lara, because she's hella cool, hella sexy, hella badass, and I think it's very interesting because she became a thing during the 90s or something, and
that's a long time ago.
And it was very competitive with, you know, the whole like James Bond was the badass, and explosions and having this like ridiculous thing where you meet just random ass tigers and kick their asses. Like, I mean, that was very male dominated too, having that action hero person. So
very much
I always think Lara was very a powerful presence, I feel like, and she's definitely one of the most kick-ass women as a character that I've known in gaming.
She is, and it's like you said, like it's not often that, at least not back then, it was like not common at all, like women had that position of power, or main character wise, and
definitely not only position of power and main character, but also not having her world be dependent on a man.
Oh yeah.
That's very also not common in film or books or whatever, games, you name it. Because women have a tendency to have like, they need to have a romantic interest to have a forwarded storyline, and their lives and moods are dependent on the man.
It's so crazy when we talk about it like this, because then it's like, oh yeah, that's why. Why?
It's so stupid. And I just love that. I don't feel like Lara ever had that.
You know about her story better than I do, since you play the games and watch the movies. I haven't seen that much.
No, like we've touched on that on a previous episode too, that I haven't taken part of the games. That was like, you know, her prologue. Do you say that? You know what happens before.
That's the latest game, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't really taken part in that, so I can't really tell you what younger Lara did, but I always really loved the fact that she was like out breaking norms with her. She did unladylike things, like she went on that archaeology expeditions and stuff as a young child, and she focuses a lot on training and doing her professional work stuff instead of like romantic relationships. And that's not to say that you can't be a badass woman with a romantic relationship. What I'm saying is that it bothers me. It bothers me when that's the center of a woman's existence.
Like she's actually a person, like beside that romantic relationship. Right. She's got her own thing going on over here, but like,
So I know I didn't like ask you to prepare anything, but off the top of your head, do you have anyone in particular that you can think about, or?
Well, since I am in like the Dragon Age mood, there are a lot of strong women in Dragon Age.
Oh, it is.
And I don't think I would be able to choose one of them. Yeah. Because I just overall love how Dragon Age portrays women. Because they are not like, just like the simple thing about like how they move, how they fight, how they talk, how they act in different situations, like they do in Dragon Age. You get to choose like how they are supposed to be, how they're gonna answer in that conversation, who you're gonna love, and who you're gonna. No one ever in the game, I think, questions like
anything,
your gender or like that. If anything, they question if you're a mage or not. It's like they don't like. It doesn't care if you're a woman or a man. It's you're the same. You're a person. You're human or elf or a dwarf, and it's just. And I just really like how they portray women because they look so strong. They are so strong in the game.
And it's not like, I know a lot of games. I started thinking about, is it one of the Batman games where someone modded them to switch roles between Batgirl or Batwoman or whatever and Batman, or Catwoman? I mean, it was Catwoman. No. And it was ridiculous. It looks so stupid because they switched the animations between Batman and Catwoman, and the slithery, unnatural way that Catwoman walks, and then putting that on Batman, it looks so stupid and unhuman. And like, she looked like a snake more than a cat. Like, it was stupid.
I love when they do that, though, because that kind of just opens your eyes and you're like, wait, why does she move like that? Because
when you switch roles, it becomes ridiculous. I would never move like that. Yeah. So it's interesting that when you switch roles, it becomes ridiculous. So why wasn't it ridiculous in the first place?
Yeah, it's so funny.
So I started thinking about that a little bit, because now then you mentioned the way they walk is also such a big thing, that they look natural in Dragon Age and human, and not like, oh, I need to like wiggle my ass and like
I need to walk hold up like my hands a bit and just strut
and like walk like I'm on a catwalk or something, even though I'm a warrior and I can beat your ass, you know?
Yeah. It's just so silly that they're like, oh, you're a woman, you're supposed to walk in a certain way.
Yeah. It's like, are you good? So I think weird. I'm gonna say that the gaming industry and the gaming world has had major progress during the last few years. I mean, when it comes to representation in games, the way women are portrayed in games, it's so much better because people are talking about it. And that's why we need to keep talking about it, because it needs to keep improving. Yeah. And
the conversation kind of needs to be like normalized, that we're talking about it. Like, it's not,
you need
like,
to be able to have a casual conversation about it.
Yeah, it's not a touchy subject. It's just what it is, and we just need to talk about it a lot so that people be like, it's normal to talk about, and it's an open conversation, and it needs to improve. Yeah. Even though it has improved a lot, of course.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of work to be done, because there's still a huge majority of men over women in the gaming industry, and there are still games that release stupid stereotypes when it comes to women, and it's an important conversation to keep having, and I have really enjoyed having that conversation with you today, Hilda, because
it was a really nice conversation.
Yeah, and I just think it's I'm going to put the names of the women that I mentioned in the description of the episode that you're listening to so that you can Google them, find out more stuff. And yes, Hilda, you're raising your hand. What's up?
I want to add another like woman that I think is a really cool like gaming woman.
Oh,
like
do it.
Character. I don't know the name of her. I have forgotten. It's the woman from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, I haven't played that.
I haven't played it either, but I've seen Let's Plays of it. It's like a dystopian future, but it's also kind of like a past. You're kind of like a Viking-ish woman.
Oh shit!
That fight like huge robot dinosaur monsters-ish.
Love that.
And she's also like a really strong woman.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
Yeah, I just really remembered her.
And I also wanna add that I am aware that Lara Croft has been a very sexualized character during the times, but that doesn't change the fact that she's a bad bitch. So
yeah, you can be sexy and still be a bad bitch.
I can be sexy and still kick your ass, bitch.
Being sexy doesn't mean that I have to be sexy for the boys.
No, exactly.
I can be sexy for myself.
Yeah, you can be sexy for the pansexual women that had their sexual awakening thanks to you, Beach.
Starting to realize something.
Yes, exactly, Beach.
Oh, that's when you woke up.
Pretty much. I've had a lot of cartoon women and gaming women during my younger years that made me realize that I'm not a straight lady.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, damn.
But so I'm going to put the names of the women we've talked about in the description box for wherever you're listening, if you want to do some more research or if you want to follow them online and stuff. I know a few of them are on Twitter and Instagram and stuff.
I feel like I'm going to have to go and follow every one of them.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
And please join the conversation in the description box wherever you're listening. If you're a woman who've had her own experiences, you're very welcome to share.
You want to tell us your story about something, just go ahead. We're here to listen.
We would love to hear that. And if you're a man and want to join the conversation of how you can learn, you're very welcome to join the conversation too.
Yes, of course.
Or if you're a non-binary person and you've been through things because you're a non-binary person, that's very interesting to hear as well. Or where, like, LGBTQ plus people
to join in on the conversation.
A whole different genre too, because the homophobia online is very, very existent too.
It's also very backwards in time.
Yes, but today we're talking about sexism. Homophobia is for another time, maybe, I don't know. But so next week won't be as a serious of a topic. We probably won't have serious
because
topics
like
this.
Because it's my episode.
No, but we won't have serious topics like this often. But I felt like there wasn't a good conversation to have since International Women's Day is coming up. And thank you for having this conversation with me, Hilda.
Thank you for bringing
As
it up.
always, you can find our episodes on YouTube and SoundCloud. You can find us on Instagram at Prattle Potion. Please join the conversation. Like we said, next week is Hilda's episode. So we're looking forward to that. And until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you next week. Safe. Yes. And I hope you enjoyed.
Bye.
Bye.